Hey there, everybody. This is Captain L. And last night was Nintendo's long-awaited presentation of the Nintendo Switch. We finally got some solid information on this thing. So, since this was something everyone was hyped up for, I figured I'd just sort of talk about my thoughts. Had a running notepad going, and I put down 64 notes on it. Okay, so starting off, they were really just getting you hyped up right from the beginning. They had the New Year's countdown, a light show going off. And then they just straight up got into the numbers we wanted to hear. They're just right at the beginning. Okay, here's the price, here's the release date. March 3rd. All right. That's less than 2 months away, which I just want to point out officially means that we waited longer from the Switch reveal trailer to this presentation than we'll have to the actual launch. Wow. And it's going to be $300. Actually, not bad. I think that's about the price of a PS4 or Xbox One. So, actually good pricing. The problem now, with other information coming out, the controllers are going to be expensive as hell. Apparently it's going to be 2 Joy-Cons is $80, one is $50, the Pro controller is $70. Ugh. Prices of controllers have just gotten ridiculous recently. I hate it. And then immediately, online, I was really not expecting Nintendo to go straight into that, but, it's not like they really said anything new. They basically all they said is basically, hey, we're switching over to the PlayStation Plus model where you have to pay to play online and you get a free game a month. It's not anything good. It's just an NES or SNES game that you apparently, judging from the wording on their website, you only get the game for that month and then it's gone. I guess they're short games, so it won't matter. And they have online play now, so I don't know which NES or SNES games I want to play with other people, but it's there in case I need to get my, I can't think of anything funny right off the top of my head. That's great. And Region Unlocked, a lot of people are always excited about that. It's nice. It's nice to not be able to legally play a game from another legal part of the world. I don't understand why region locking is a thing. Okay, then they're the Switch is incorporating the DNA of all old Nintendo consoles. The NES revolutionized video games and brought them into the modern era. The Super Nintendo added 4 extra buttons. The N64 had an analog stick. The GameCube had a handle. It didn't make it portable, guys. I could pick it up, but if I was going to take it somewhere, I was putting it in a bag anyway. Let's see here. Battery life. That was something we were all wondering because this is supposedly pretty powerful handheld. And they're it's going to vary by game. It's going to go from 2.5 hours to 6.5 hours. Wow. That's a pretty big gap there. I'm going to bet most of it's going to, fall on the lower end of that. The Switch is not a console I'd be taking portable anyway. It's kind of unwieldy for that. I'd probably stick to my 3DS if I'm going out. It's got a share button, just like the PS4 does. Honestly, even as someone with a capture card, I think I'd probably use that just because every once in a while something funny happens in a game. I want to have it recorded. But I can't just stop playing, go over, unhook it from the TV, plug it into my capture card, get the capture card software running. It's a lot of work, so the ability to just get a couple seconds of funny footage is pretty good. As they were talking about the Joy-Con controllers, like I said, the one on the right, the second one, that still looks horrible. The analog stick is in the middle of the controller. I think it would have been, I know a lot of people would disagree, but I think it would have been better if they stuck to the Wii U design where it's completely symmetrical, just because it means that 2 players have the same functionality. And if you're holding it sideways like a Wii remote, which is what they intend for multiplayer with it, There's L and R buttons on the top, and my first thought seeing those was, those cannot be comfortable to use because they look really small. It's, I cannot see that being good. But you can, the grip that you put them, both the Joy-Cons into that acts like a regular controller, that's looks completely optional. So you can play with the two of them just, out in your hands individually. And I like that. I mentioned in my Wii review somewhere that, one of my favorite things about the Wii Remote and Nunchuck control combination was that I could, sit back on the couch, hold my hands sort of far apart, and play a game. So I'm actually happy that they're returning to that and giving you the option to play with the standard controller. Was not expecting that to come back. And then they said, hey, like the Wii Remote, it's got accelerometers, motion controls. And my first thought was, there's no way that you can... What are you guys intending for me to do with that? Because there's no way that I can use that in handheld mode. If both the Joy-Cons are connected to the screen, I can't move them individually, nor would I want to. So I thought the idea was that the same game would be equally as playable at home or on the go. So I feel like they're sort of straying from that design philosophy. Yeah. And then talking about, HD rumble. The rumbling is super good on this thing. And there's a sensor on the bottom that can detect, it's so precise, it can detect rock, paper, or scissors. Let's be honest, guys. That thing is not getting used anywhere. Besides, obviously, the AAA flagship title that they were showing off, the Ice Cube Simulator 2017. I think Kojima was leading up to this when he was focusing so much on the Ice Cube physics of Metal Gear Solid 2. This is his dream come true. Happy about that. Finally, Kojima's back. And then they started showing off some new games. And the first one starts off with a cowboy in the Wild West walking up. And my very first thought was, probably like a lot of other people, I'm like, Red Dead Redemption 2? Is that coming to the Switch? And then I noticed that the guy was a live action actor, so I'm like, no, that's probably not it. So there's just a long scene of him staring down another cowboy, and I'm gonna be honest, next thing I thought was, they're bringing back the Mad Dog McCree series. And that's not just being funny, I think it is, whatever, but the other guy that he was staring down looked like Nasty Dan from the second game. Oh no, that was the third one, my bad. And then my next thought was, Wild Gunman. Is it a reboot of Wild Gunman? No, it's a new game called 1-2 Switch. And I cannot say it looks good. It's another tech demo game, like Wii Sports or Nintendo Land, except it's not bundled with the Switch. That I cannot see a reason to just buy this game on its own. And why do you even need a console for this? Because you're not going to be looking at the screen while you're playing it. You're going to be looking into each other's eyes, I assume, very sensually. Does that count as a video game? I can't say. Then they showed off a boxing game, and I could have sworn Nintendo owned a boxing IP already. Whatever. No, but this one's different. You're boxing with another person, and both of you made out of springs. So it's like a One Piece, I guess. What is this? This one's called Arms. I'm gonna give you guys another chance to rename that game, because that is just horrible. No, I'm serious. Arms does not look good. The art style is a mix between Splatoon, Wonderful 101, and cheap TF2 Overwatch knockoffs. But on the plus side, this game brings back Springman. So I'm glad to see that after his abuse from Dr. Wily, he's finally getting some new love. Clearly, he was the greatest of the Mega Man 7 Robot Masters. And, I'm fully expecting the tagline for this game to be like that clip from Justice League or something, where, Green Arrow goes like, when you want to punch someone, but they're all the way over there. I think that's going to be it. And you play this game, exactly what you'd expect, holding the two Joy-Cons and actually punching. I played Punch-Out Wii with the Wii Remote Nunchuck for a while. I don't recommend it, because it's impossible to be accurate. I guess this game is built around the motion controls, and it's completely multiplayer focused, so that's good. So, how are they planning for this game to be playable? Like, otherwise? On a TV, yeah, sure, that's fine. But it's obviously impossible to play in handheld mode. And in tabletop mode, you're gonna be swinging your arms around. That much, like, movement and motion control, I don't think is really possible when you're looking at a small screen. So again, they're sort of straying from the design philosophy that's making the Switch sort of a big thing. Okay, next was the actual one that they, the next game they showed off was the one that everyone wanted to see, Splatoon 2. For a while, I wasn't sure if they changed enough from it. Like, is this worthy of being a sequel? But, they showed off enough new weapons, some, like, a whole new, like, mobility system, lots of new customization options. I think this is enough. That's all good for a sequel. Though I didn't see anything in there about Squid Girl, and I'm telling you, if they do not have Squid Girl, that's a no-buy for me. Squid Girl needs the love, and Splatoon was the best place to get it. And then they revealed the name was Splatoon 2. I seriously cannot believe, in a game filled with puns, they had the bait, and they missed it. Just wildly, they cast their lure and they hit the beach. They didn't even hit the water. Come on. Splatoon. Alright? That's how you do it. But no, I was only semi-kidding about the Squid Girl stuff. If they have a better story mode, online, it gives you the option to play anything but Turf Wars in, non-ranked matches. And it has split screen that's worthwhile, then, that's actually pretty good. Then they started showing another, like, bright, colorful trailer, and my first thought was, just from the art style, or at least the colors, like, isn't this more Splatoon? And then it, like, goes down to, like, a New York City streets, like, the taxis are driving by, and it starts focusing on, like, this sewer manhole, and it's, like, starts shaking like something's gonna jump out. And I'm not kidding, it almost looked exactly like the intro to Sonic Adventure. Like, aside from the colors, it looked like perfect chaos was about to burst out of the sewers and flood Station Square. But no, Mario jumped out. So, Mario gets to jump around. It's Mario Odyssey, which, it's actually odd that they showed that off during the Switch conference, because this isn't a Switch game. This is coming to the Magnavox Odyssey. You probably couldn't tell from the graphics, but 45 years working with one console, you really get to learn its in and outs and how to make the most out of its hardware. Alright, Mario Odyssey. Mario's, like, in the real world. I thought Sonic tried that to really bad effect. And as far as I'm aware, this doesn't have anything to do with the movie continuity, which is another missed opportunity. Or, I guess since this isn't the real world, it's not going to go into the fact that Mario is apparently from Brooklyn. These are the Mario lore that we need to know. And, the big gimmick of this game is that, Mario can throw his hat, and he can, like, use it as a platform. I didn't see the spin from Galaxy come back. That's actually a really big deal to me. That spin was an amazing thing. I want that back. I think. And the reason he can throw his hat is because the hat is alive. Eslo's found a new form. Woo. Alright, after that, Monolith Soft started. Honestly, aside from the color, you could have told me this is any game these guys have made and I would have believed it. It's apparently Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which, first off, odd name, because, I thought Xenoblade Chronicles X counted. I guess since it takes place in the future, or if it even takes place in the same continuity as the original Xenoblade Chronicles, we got like a Mega Man situation going on, where the original and the X series are running concurrently. And the big news, they didn't say it at the conference, but apparently Xenoblade 2 is coming out this year. After the 3-year wait for X, that's actually really impressive. I don't believe it, but it's apparently happening. Koei Tecmo really didn't show anything off. They basically just said, hey, we're making Fire Emblem Warriors. Your waifu kicks everyone's ass. I still have not played a Fire Emblem game. My only experience is playing as Ike and Lucina in Smash Brothers and playing as Chrom and Lucina in Project Cross Zone 2. I got Fire Emblem Awakening for Christmas. I just haven't played it yet. What was after that? Oh, Shin Megami Tensei 5. Whatever. I do not care about anything Atlas makes. Square Enix. I was expecting them to show off something a little more interesting, but Octopath Traveler. I hear a lot of people are excited for this one because it's the same team as Bravely Default. I played the demo of the first one and I absolutely hated it, so I cannot say I have any interest in this, just as a person who's not really an RPG fan anyway. But the graphic style bothers me. It's like an old RPG, like a Super Nintendo one, but obviously better. Looks better. That's nice. But it tries to do the worlds are rendered in 3D, and during fights the camera will turn, but it just shows that the sprites are flat. I don't think it looks good, honestly. Then they started, some developers came out just to talk about some third-party developers came out to talk about what they were doing for the Switch. A guy from Sega came out and basically just said, yeah, Switch, and then he left. That was a great thing. And we heard later, Sonic Mania is coming to the Switch. We didn't know that until now. It's coming. He totally could have said that while he was on stage. 2 Sonic games. That's great. I wasn't really super excited for Mania, and I was going to play 2017 on PC anyway. But Sonic. Okay, and Bethesda came out, and Skyrim's coming. They said immediately after the Switch reveal trailer that showed Skyrim, that was just like a demo. We can't actually say whether or not we're making Skyrim for the Switch. And then they come to this and we're making Skyrim for the Switch. You could have just said that months ago. Would have been fine. Who cares? So can you mod Macho Man Randy Savage into this one? Because that was the mod's the only thing about Skyrim I find even kind of entertaining. Even though I'm not going to buy it. I don't care for these kinds of games, which is going to make Zelda really a pain. I'll get to Zelda later. What was after that? Oh, right. The big event for the night, for me at least. Suda51 came on stage. And as soon as I saw that was him, this thing took place late at night, but I was immediately awake, glued to the screen, listening intently. Please, anything. What do you have to tell me, Suda? I will take it. And then he could have said anything. I would have been good. But he went straight for the high spot, straight for the heavens, and was a while ago, anyone remember we made a game starring Travis Touchdown? I'm oh yes. And yeah, No More Heroes 3 is coming to the Switch. I'm restraining myself. You cannot believe how excited I am for that. I know I talked about the No More Heroes games in my Wii review, and I don't remember if I mentioned it there that No More Heroes 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. So the fact that 3 is coming out at all has me hyped beyond belief. And it's coming to the Switch. That sold me. I'm gonna be honest, that's the thing. up until this point, I didn't really have much interest in the Switch, just because like the two games that I was interested in that they showed were coming to the Switch were Zelda and Sonic 2017. As I said, I'm going to play Sonic 2017 on PC for modding, and Zelda's coming to the Wii U, which I already own, so the Switch was sort of like an, I guess, eventually sort of thing. No More Heroes 3 is coming to it, probably going to be exclusive. That means I have to buy it at some point. So I hope it's like really far out though, because I still have to buy a PS4, and I cannot buy 2 new consoles in succession. I do not have the money for that. And then they followed just the most amazing thing ever with EA. Like, oh, the most popular sports game is coming to the Switch, and apparently it's FIFA. I thought Madden was like the most popular one, but I guess people around the world like to play soccer. But you know, actually, I'm gonna compliment them. This was great timing on the EA thing, because I don't care about anything these guys say. So it's just like, hey, here's a chance to just cool down from that No More Heroes high. Thank you. I actually did need that. Then they started showing off like a demo reel. Just like, hey, here's a bunch of short clips, which, you know, some of those would have been nice to talk about during the thing. Like, Rayman Legends is apparently coming to the Switch. It's got new content. Cool. Rayman Legends is a fantastic game. If you haven't played it already, you totally should. What did they show off? Like anything? They showed off Dragon Ball Xenoverse. So I'm like, okay, I guess 3 is coming to the Switch. No, apparently 2 is. I think it probably would have been more prudent just to wait until 3 came out. Whatever. I like Dragon Ball. Let's see. Where's my notes? Xenoverse. Okay. Yeah. Then they're talking about the the 2 models of the Switch that are going to be available. There's not like a hard drive difference. Oh, that's also worth noting. It's going to be 32 gigabytes. Not sure that was your best idea, but honestly, I don't think it's going to be that bad, because the games are coming on cartridges, so that faster speed means it's probably not going to have to install anything, and the save data is going to be saved on the cartridge. So there's not going to be like a lot of stuff for each game on the system. And Nintendo's been good about not having like gigantic day one patches. Like even third-party developers on the Wii U, as far as I'm aware, didn't do that. So I don't know if that's something they have control over, but it's a practice I'd like to see continue. Oh yeah, so 2 models. The difference between them is that one of them has 2 gray Joy-Con controllers that match the console and the grip, and one of them has a bright blue one and a bright pink one just to mess everyone up and look stupid. Oh yeah, and then I want to bring this up like every single time I was transitioning. It was Kimishima like snapping his fingers and being like, let's switch over to this. More Switch puns, please. Don't just repeat the same one. You don't have to snap your fingers every time. I wrote down in my notes, more snapping than a Mustang-focused Full Metal Alchemist episode. Okay, and Switch is coming out in March, but you may not have to wait that long. There's going to be 6 demo events in the coming months, and there's no way in hell I'm going to one of those things. I had a bad enough time with crowds going to like the Smash event. There's no way a new console that has like a couple events is going to be a fun experience. Yeah, so they were closing out the presentation, and I'm gonna be honest, my thought was, no Smash. That's actually sort of odd. And then they're like, oh yeah, Zelda. And I'm like, oh yeah, Zelda. I forgot. I'm gonna be honest. All this like new stuff, new hype event stuff, I forgot about Zelda. And they showed off a new trailer, which looks fantastic, honestly. Oh yeah, there's voice acting now. Good to see Nintendo's doing things that people started doing 20 years ago in games, besides Mario Sunshine. And at the very least, the Japanese voices, they sounded really good. Like there's a scene where like Zelda's crying into Link's arms, and there was some real emotion in that. I liked it. I hope the English voice acting can compare, or hope there's actually voice acting in the game and that wasn't just trailer stuff. Hope. Again, the only thing they announced was the launch date. March 3rd, it's launching with the console. And obviously that's great. Zelda's coming out soon, but they didn't say anything about the Wii U launch. And I only found out this morning that it's coming out same day for the Wii U. So great. I'm going to be the only guy going to Best Buy on March 3rd being like, excuse me, I pre-ordered Zelda for the Wii U? Whatever. Saves me $300 on buying a new console. I'm happy about that. And there's been some like information coming out since then, just like a couple companies talking, or just things Nintendo didn't talk about. Like Street Fighter 2's coming, Ultra Street Fighter 2. It could have given us Street Fighter 5 or something. No, 2. I don't like Street Fighter 2. Who is it? SNK is releasing a compilation of Neo Geo games. It's got Metal Slug 3. So in case you need another way to play Metal Slug 3, you're good. They released these compilations on the Wii, and I think they released ones with more games. So cannot say that that's a worthy investment. And that was the Switch. I'm kind of impressed. It doesn't look like it's going to be a very good launch. Like, it's got Zelda right there. And Splatoon's coming in the summer. Mario's coming in the winter. So they've got a couple games this year, but I don't think it's going to be much. And things are going to be really, like, controllers are going to be really expensive. And if NES Classic and Amiibo or anything to go by, stock is going to be really hard to find. So I'm very happy I don't have a reason to pick this thing up at launch. I'm willing to wait, and I'm happy about that. But I know that I have a timer. I gotta pick this thing up at least close to No More Heroes 3. I seriously want that game. So then, this actually does look like a good new console. I want to see how it does. And I'm hoping in the coming months they actually give us a little more information, like the Virtual Console. We know NES and SNES games are going to have online play, I guess. Hopefully that's not just limited to like the, well, I guess in order to get the online play, you'd have to be a paid member anyway, so whatever. There's a comment, that's good. GameCube, that's coming, right? That's going to be there. The GameCube Virtual Console sounds okay. I own like every GameCube game I want, so I'd probably just use it as a cheap way to get Mario Sunshine, just to play that. Is there anything else like about it that I need to know? No, I don't think so. Yeah, Switch. Switched up. I can't think of good puns. That was it. That was what I had. Sorry this wasn't filmed. I learned from my Zorskreger Gunvolt 2 video that these things take up a lot of space on my iPod, which I use as my camera. So I just decided to record this one to save a lot of hard drive space and processing time. All right. I cannot do endings. I hate it.